Hi and welcome to another Tabitha's Glass Emporium YouTube video. Today we're looking at these amazing little Christmas trees. These are made all with pretty much scrap glass, so it's sort of what you've got around. They're a really good project because even this one here was made by my 4-year-old daughter. Now admittedly I kind of got together the basic shape of the tree, but then she decorated it and helped me decorate the presents. And it was a really easy, lovely project for her to do. And I'm not unproud to have that kind of, out for Christmas of something she made. So it's a great one to do as a workshop or with a small child or even an older child. Everyone can kind of get involved in this one. And we just want to talk through the materials we used in this project. So the main materials used, we started with a thin layer of scrap Tecta and then put some green clear and green opals in, and then on top to give the kind of texture we've used this confetti frit that we sell. This is like €2.20 for this amount, and you could probably do at least a couple of trees with that. And literally, just because they're kind of in lines, they work really well for these trees, and you get lots of different shades and colours with them, so they're kind of why you end up getting lighter and darker bits in the whole projects, which looks and works really nicely. And then we've just used a few stringers and a few frit balls and murrine. So you could choose, if you don't want to use murrine, you could just use frit balls or some frit and just put it on. Here you can see we've just used yellow frit and some murrine, but you could just do it with frit and some stringers. So to build the Christmas tree, we do it straight on a kiln shelf. I'm going to start off by putting the trunk on because it's easier. If I put these sort of bits on this and then make sure this has a bit of an overlap, and then I'm literally just going to kind of sketch out using the clear I have here the sort of basis of the tree, and then on top I'm going to build it up with the coloured scrap on top. The nice thing about this is literally you're using all bits of scrap. You're not using any kind of proper glass at all, and you're not also not having to kind of cut intricate little pieces. I've seen amazing trees, they look beautiful, but they do require quite a lot of cutting, and these are just literally took us 5 minutes to cut up these bits of just scrap into strips, and we're just slowly going to build this up. So this is, you can see the transparents. We've got opals here, we've got some nice aventurine, and I'm not thinking about it too much. I'm not sort of thinking, oh, I want to place this bit here and this bit here. I'm just sort of getting on and getting it filled up. I would say the only thing I do is that I make sure I'm if I'm putting not putting loads of dark bits together, I'm putting a little bit of dark here. If you think that kind of the dark would be the shadows in the tree, and the lighter would be the light. So I've sort of got this, nice layer of this, and now I'm going to start adding these, which is our scrap confetti. I want to put a bit more down the bottom here, so to sort of soften this edge. Using a couple of the bigger pieces to do that. And I'm now going to just carry on adding this across the tree. So as you can see, I built up the layer quite thick with the confetti, and now I'm just going to literally put some stringers on. These are our hand pulled stringers that sort of give a nice feel for the tinsel. So just putting them on in place. Now after that, I'm now going to find some murrine to put on. I've got one murrine here, which is one we've just pulled. I don't even have a name for it yet, which I'm going to put on the top. It's got a little star, and when this fuses, we'll get a bit more of a reaction between the blue and the orange in there, so the star will kind of pop out a bit more. I'm now going to put some murrine on. We've done a couple of Christmas trees here. Every time we do them, we keep selling them, and then I never had them to show you guys for the YouTube video. So we thought, oh, quick, we'll do 4, and then hopefully we'll keep them. I'm going to put these murrine on. If you don't want to use murrine, you could use frit balls. Would equally work as well. And I'm going to put these sort of dotted across. I also want to kind of decorate the trunk a little bit. Got some brown stringers. Just going to put kind of a bit of gel glue on the trunk. I'm going to use these sort of multicolored squares we've got as kind of the knots in the tree. And then just add stringers onto it to kind of give some more texture to the bark. And also I will probably then add on the top just a little bit of frit, so that you've got kind of smaller things and bigger things on the tree to add some dimension. The other things you're going to need to put in the kiln with this is a base. So you can either cut, depending on whether you feel confident. I've cut this one from 6mm and this one from 4mm. I much prefer the 6mm base. It feels chunkier, but I know breaking a 6mm base can be a bit daunting. Once I've got it, I'm going to add a bit of decoration. So I'm just going to put a bit of gel glue again, sort of all over. Now, if you think the tree is in the middle and you've got the presents, but at the front I can add a bit kind of some slightly chunkier bits. So I'm going to add a bit of this is a dense white frit. And I'm keeping that to the front so the back is sort of smoother to glue the tree onto. I'm also going to add some of this irid, clear irid coarse frit. That's quite recently out, and it's quite nice to get with the sparkle, Christmas sparkle from the irid. So put some of that on there as well. And then I'm going to sprinkle some fine frit just over the top here. Just to give, so you don't have to use white, you could use a colour if you wanted to. You could make this like a bit of carpet if you really wanted to. But for me, this is kind of a quick way of doing it because I don't want to spend too long on this. You always have to think of kind of your profit margins, I feel, that when you're making these, unless you're doing it for a friend, for a present, but if you're doing it to sell, that is the important thing. So that can then go in the kiln. I'm going to need to find space, and that can go in. So the last thing, which we also will put in the kiln with this lot, is the presents. So when you're doing a present, you know, square is easy. These are some we've already fused. As you can see, they're easy. We're probably going to have to grind the bottoms of them a little bit to just give a good edge to stick. But so doing them, we'll just literally cut whatever scraps we have. So that's a cool bit of accordion irid. And to put the bows on, I do cut the cross piece in two. I don't just try and balance it on. It never works that well. It tends to kind of come off in the kiln and cause sort of trouble. So I just literally getting them on, balancing on like that. You can see with some of these I left them a bit longer, and they then kind of curve round the edge of the parcel, so they'll sort of slump and then Tack-Fuse. So that's also an option, is to leave them a little bit longer, and then they'll kind of curve around the edge of the parcel as well, which is a really nice sort of look if you can be bothered to do that. So I'm going to carry on with this, and then after I put this on, I'm probably just going to decorate them a little bit. I'm again going to use murrine because I like to, and just put a few kind of murrine decoration on the presents to add a little something. And you can kind of add as little or just keep them simple if you want. And then this will all go in a Tack-Fuse to about 750 centigrade, and we'll see what they look like when they come out. So here are these all out of the kiln. I think this would come out really nicely, the tree. It's got a really kind of nice sort of textural feeling to it. I particularly like on this piece the little bits of irid frit, just give it that nice Christmassy shine, and the presents all came out really well. So now gluing, I use this 2-part Aradite crystal clear. I tend to mix in cupcake holders just because then they're easily binned afterwards. So I'm sort of mixing up the amount I want. With this, you know, it's 2 parts, so each time you're using it, you just mix up the amount you need. And then you need to mix it for about a minute, which I'm going to do now, and then you'll get you to come back to me once it's mixed. So now I've mixed the glue. I put a little bit of glue along the trunk and just pushed it in, and I'm using this sellotape to fix it in place. I didn't film that because I needed an extra pair of hands, which you may need. So Miller, who does my filming, has helped me stick it. So then the presents, I'm lucky guys, I have a grinder, so I have literally managed to grind the bottom of everything to keep it kind of flat. So now I'm just going to put the presents on here and there as I want. So we now put all the presents on, and I'm going to leave it and not touch and let it dry. The only thing you want to be aware of, guys, is if you have a table with a tilt on it, when gluing, if your table isn't level, everything slides, which we have sometimes had a little bit of a problem here. So just keep an eye on stuff until you, either know that your table is 100% level, or you know that it's stuck enough that it's not going to go anywhere. So here's the finished tree. I think it looks great. It was one firing, which I think is always good, really simple to make and really effective. You know, as quick as we're making them, we're selling them. It's in September and these are just literally flying off our shelves. So I hope they work really well for you, and if you like this video, please subscribe.